Hey YouTube, what's going on? Is it possible to prove God exists? In a scientific sense, no it isn't. You can't experiment, observe, or measure God. But I still think there are a lot of reasons to believe that God's existence is probable.
Oh, do you? But if we can't experiment, measure, or observe God, then what seems most probable is that scared primitive people made him up, and we as a collective society haven't been able to shake their superstitious delusion. Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers, BionicDance here, and yay, it's State of Daniel again, and he's got 4 reasons why we should believe in God. Let's see if he can convince us, shall we?
The reason I wanted to make this video is because if you watch atheists on YouTube, they'll bash and mock religion all day long, but they'll never once give you a reason to actually be an atheist.
Daniel? Everything we do, every argument we make is a reason to be an atheist. See, the only requirement to be an atheist is for the number of gods you believe in to be 0. So every argument that we make that God doesn't exist is a reason to be an atheist. That's it.
So instead of being negative and criticizing atheism, I want to give you 4 very distinct reasons to believe in God.
All right, hit me.
The first reason is the argument from design. The premise is that where there is a design, there must be a creator.
Stop saying that!
Ugh, not this tired old chestnut again. This argument is older than the crust on your underwear, and it's been debunked over and over. Why do you think you can keep using it?
And when you look around the universe and at all of its intricacies, it's pretty clear that there is design.
I see. So your argument is that you looked around, it seemed designed to you, therefore it must be so. But what kind of argument is that? What would something look like if it wasn't designed?
Come on, look at this treadmill. Tell me that ain't God.
You know what I see when I look around at the universe? I see patterns. I see pieces of the universe reacting to each other in regular ways. The interference of a deity seems quite superfluous. These reactions need no mind to guide them. And unlike your argument, this can be verified by observation and testing. So to you, the universe seems designed. And how is that an argument for anything?
So if there's always a creator behind design, then there must be a creator for our universe.
Well, then you'd better get cracking and show that our universe was designed. You're going to have to do better than, it seems pretty clear.
An atheist wouldn't believe that a painting came together by chance. So why would you think the same about such a wondrous universe?
You mean a universe that's awfully cruel and indifferent, that's trying to kill us on a nearly constant basis? Germs, predators, natural disasters, the vacuum of space. This universe is not a fun place to live. And we few, inhabiting a planet that takes up 3 times 10 to the negative 60th, that's a decimal with 60 zeros and a 3 after it, percent of the universe, we just happen to be God's chosen people. If that universe was designed by your God, then I say that he's one cruel motherfucker, or the world's practical joke champion.
You know, there's actually this theory that if you gave 1 million monkeys 1 million typewriters, they'd eventually randomly type out the entire works of Shakespeare. Yet whenever we see Romeo and Juliet lying around, we don't think it was randomly created.
Way to miss the point there, Chester. People used to think that the sun went round the earth, 'cause it sure did look that way. Now we know that's wrong. Reality is not dictated by what seems right to you. But the real point behind the monkeys and typewriters analogy is that the universe is 13.8 billion years old, and there is an inconceivable number of stars in it. Just our galaxy alone has 200 to 400 billion stars in it, with who the fuck knows how many planets. And there's nearly 100 billion galaxies with just as many stars that we know about. With all of that time, matter, and energy, why wouldn't a place like Earth with beings like humanity eventually form at some point, no God required? Yes, the amounts we're dealing with are inconceivable.
Inconceivable!
Difficult for the mind to wrap itself around. But the analogy with the monkeys and the typewriters is essentially the same thing. Enough time and activity and you will eventually get every possible result.
Even if you believe in evolution, evolution is just proof of a divine creator.
You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
Evolution is proof of a divine creator, what? Because it seems that way? Uh-huh. And the Earth is flat, too.
The second argument is known as the first cause argument. Everything needs an explanation. If you randomly saw a dog in your house, you would not think that it magically appeared there.
But didn't the universe magically appear there? Or did God go out to the celestial IKEA and put it together? Did he borrow Thor's hammer for the job? I'm just looking for a little consistency here.
A universe without a first cause is like a moving train without an engine.
That's a terrible analogy. Let's hypothetically grant your premise a scrap of legitimacy. A much better analogy would be that it's like a train without a factory that makes train cars.
Now, a skeptic might ask, so who created or caused God? But anyone who asks that has actually missed the point of the argument.
No, they really haven't. You've missed the flaw in yours. If your premise is correct and everything has a cause, you don't get to make God a big ol' exception.
As Peter Kreeft says, the argument doesn't use the premise that everything needs a cause. Rather, everything in motion needs a cause, everything dependent needs a cause, and everything imperfect needs a cause.
Everything in motion needs a cause? If God isn't in motion, then he cannot interact with anybody. He's static and unchanging. Frankly, powerless. Everything dependent needs a cause? Sure seems like God needs your prayers and your loyalty quite a bit. Either that or he's one insecure motherfucker. But even if God isn't dependent, we've still got that first problem of being in motion. And everything imperfect needs a cause? Last I checked, God sure did fuck up left and right. He let Adam and Eve be tempted. He let hell and Satan exist at all. He hit the reset button on the entire earth with Noah's flood. He had to kill his only son to forgive sinful humanity, which he created. Your God is like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon, only not as funny. And why the hell should we take this Peter Peefsky word for any of this? Where is he getting his information? And why should we believe that anything perfect and independent and immobile even exists? Your argument has no basis in fact or logic.
The third reason is the argument of miracles.
You have got to be fucking kidding me. Miracles? Really?
Is he a nutcase?
I can't perform miracles, and you can't perform miracles. In fact, miracles can't come from any humans, and they can't come from nature. So if miracles exist, then so must God.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
What is a miracle, really? According to Wikipedia, it's an event not explicable by natural or scientific laws. It goes on to say that it's performed by gods or their chosen minions, which, by the way, means that you or I could potentially perform them. But hold on a moment here. An event not explicable by natural or scientific laws? That also describes magic, sorcery, witchcraft, etc. Let's assume that miracles can be real. How would you distinguish between a miracle and wizard magic, or somebody using the Force? How would you know? Some unscrupulous sorcerer could claim to be the agent of a god while casting their spell. Couldn't they? I used my necromancer powers to resurrect that Jesus patsy I've been mind controlling, and those idiot Jews and Romans don't have a clue. This is the best practical joke ever. And this is assuming that events not explicable by natural or scientific laws, fucking magic, is even possible. It also assumes that it's your god that's responsible and not, say, Zeus. And there's absolutely no documented evidence for any of this. Even if it's not explicable by science, you'd think someone would have caught it on video by now. Surely you can do better than this.
So consider the miracle of the sun, where the sun cast multicolor lights and zigzagged across the sky for 10 minutes. An estimated 100,000 people witnessed this in Portugal.
Yeah, according to one report, others say 30 to 40,000. I notice you left that part out. Furthermore, there are plenty of scientific explanations for how this could have occurred, right there on the Wikipedia page you showed. And I notice you left those out too. Doesn't your religion have a wee something to say about honesty?
Or consider the countless medical miracles that are impossible or inexplicable by even the brightest minds in medicine and science.
What we have here is the God of the Gaps argument. It goes like this. You don't have an explanation? Then God did it. It's a miracle. In humanity's past, there are a lot of unexplained things that eventually did become clear. And even today, we have lots of things not yet understood. But that doesn't mean there isn't an explanation to be found. You don't get to just plug God into the holes in our understanding and use that to claim that he's real. It doesn't work like that. I'm leaving out his little story of his own miracle experience because the most likely explanation is that he miscounted. If you're really curious, I always leave a link to the video I'm responding to in the description. Have at.
The fourth reason is Pascal's Wager.
You're a waste of space.
Oh!
Pascal's Wager? Pascal's fucking Wager? Pascal's Wager has so many faults the San Andreas is jealous. Why do you people keep using these tired, old, long-debunked arguments? What is wrong with you?
Have you the brain worms?
If you're unfamiliar with Pascal's Wager, he paints this situation where it's impossible to prove or disprove the existence of God, but you must still place a wager and choose one side or the other.
But there isn't one side or another. This argument only works if there's just one God to believe in. Suppose I place my bet on your God, and it turns out that the Muslims' Allah is the right one, or Ra and Osiris. Should I place my wager on all of them? Oh, but wait, doesn't your Bible say something about thou shalt have no other gods before me?
And what if we pick the wrong religion? Every week we're just making God madder and madder.
Testify!
And which denomination? Should I be a Baptist, a Lutheran, a Catholic, a Methodist? Which is the right one? And what if religion is actually a test, and God is trying to separate out the skeptical, rational people from the gullible? There are so many reasons why Pascal's Wager doesn't work. It only takes one religion into account. It assumes that God is honest about what he wants from us, that choosing to believe won't eventually bite us in the ass. It's an overly simplified and naive as hell way to look at the problem.
Please try to understand before one of us dies.
Seriously, stop using that argument. It's fucking bullshit.
If you believe in God, but he doesn't actually exist, then you haven't lost anything.
Except my integrity and self-respect. Not to mention all of the time wasted out of a brief and finite lifespan going to places of worship, praying, etc. Like I said, Pascal's Wager is overly simplified and hopelessly naive.
But if you don't believe in God, and he does exist, then you're kinda screwed.
Believe in me without any evidence or I'll have you tortured for eternity. Yeah, real benevolent.
The whole point of the wager is to make you think about what makes more sense. Are you gonna bet for God or against God?
I'm going to bet for rationality, reason, logic, and evidence. That's what makes the most sense.
Pascal's Wager is actually low-hanging fruit because it doesn't require any depth or any maturity of faith.
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
But it's just enough to dam the tide of atheism.
You just keep telling yourself that, Chester.
Imagine if you were dying and you were in a room and there was a vial with medicine in front of you. It has a 50-50 chance of helping you. Would it be reasonable to try it?
From where are you getting this 50-50 chance? Who says it's not poison? Who says it's not some vile elixir of pain that'll make your final moments as nasty and unpleasant as possible? Because remember, Pascal's Wager isn't just help you or not help you. It's help you, not help you, or condemn you forever.
So why would you or anyone bet against God? Atheism is a horrible bet because there's absolutely no chance of winning.
And if religion didn't come with a shit ton of extra baggage, I might agree with you. But if I chose religion, I would have to bury and deny so much of who I really am. And having that as part of the wager is unacceptable.
And you know what? Whether you like it or not, we all have to play the game. We all have to make a bet because at some point or another, we all die.
And yet the only reason this is an issue is because a bunch of you have some really wacky magical beliefs. If you lot didn't run around saying how important your invisible friend is, this would never have been an issue in the first place. You might as well have said that we all have to believe in Dungeons and Dragons or we'll never get any experience points. We all have to play the game, right?
So if you're an atheist, are you confident in your bet? Can you be sure that there is no God?
Given the available data, I'm confident enough that a God's existence is so unlikely that I'm taking no appreciable risk by not believing in the fucker. What more do I need? Are you confident that you're not wasting your time on a delusion? And I'm spent. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think. Droids don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when their videos aren't rated. Bionic dances are known to do that.